Welcome to Civil War Digital Digest. I'm Will. Thanks to the Waterloo Area Historical Society, I'm outstanding in a beautiful field on a lovely fall afternoon. It's a great day to talk about one veteran Union officer's account of how his men protected themselves outside of Chattanooga during the siege. Before we get going, I want to say thanks to the CWDD Coffee Grinders. They're our patrons on Patreon. These patrons make it possible for us to travel, hire crew, and bring these stories back to life for you to enjoy. Check out the page over on Patreon. There's bonus stuff there. We'd love to have you join up and be part of that community. Today, Chesley Mosman's The Rough Side of the War, a great account from the Western Theater. Mosman was from the 59th Illinois, and he's a first lieutenant after Chickamauga as the 4th Corps falls back and entrenches around Chattanooga to be besieged by the Confederates. Well, his men are out in front of the main works, and they have to find a way to defend themselves. And we have two friends coming out today. They're bringing some tools from the quartermaster department. Let's listen to what Mosman write as they get out and start to take a look.
The pickets protected themselves by laying rails in this manner. That is, lay one rail on top of another, the rails crossing each other 1 foot from the end and the other end of both rails 8 feet apart. Then fill earth in this angle. Several rails laid on top of each other in this manner will make a work about 2 or 3 feet high, and the earth dug out will make it nearly 4 feet to the man inside. Chesley Mosman, 59th Illinois.
Okay, so as the fence rails come in that Mosman writes about, a lot of us know how to build hasty fighting positions from either modern manuals or from training manuals that were given to GIs during World War II or World War I. This isn't part of the regular training for Civil War soldiers, yet we take a look at a primary source account and we get a chance to look at it. So that's what we're going to do today. We see the rails starting to come in. We have kept the back to about 8 feet wide, just like Mosman said. We're going to go ahead and use the pick and shovel that were provided by the quartermaster department to the men. And at some point, we'll probably back off to look at the pick and shovel ersatz that the men carried, the bayonet, and either the canteen half or the cup. And we'll look at what it takes to dig this out. It's going to take a while to do this. We're going to get into it, and we'll give you a chance to see what Mosman and his men used to find shelter and defense outside of Chickamauga. Stay with us and enjoy the views. Well, let me hold you just a second here. As we get going with Callan and Alex working on things, there's a number of things that I really like already that I want to talk about. We see the pick and the shovel working together. The pick to break up the ground, the shovel to scoop and bring it out. The fellas are working in tandem. Of course, we're not under fire at this point, so they can stand up. If they had to be further hunkered down because of fire, it might be better, even if they had the access to the pick and shovel to use the canteen half and the bayonet just to be smaller. But today we don't have that issue. What I like that I see working together, even though guys are huffing and puffing a little bit here, there's always a chance to take a break. One job is done, the other job works. It puts a measure of routine in. When you're working manual labor, that routine absolutely is something that can help you go further, just like marching in step can help you go further. Another thing that I like is we see the mound of dirt right here. Callan's not just slinging the dirt as far as he can to get it out of his way. He realizes that this dirt is also going to be his life and his protection. He's taking the time to scoop it and drop it over, and we're building a mound just outside as we start to create this. So we'll let this process keep going, but wanted to stop for a minute and just take a look at some of what was happening already. All right, we don't know what these men were carrying. The quartermaster could have picks and shovels they could borrow or get issued to make this, or they might have had to do it themselves with improvised tools like a bayonet and either a cup or a canteen half that was left over or a plate. This puts you smaller looking out the front. If there's a threat to the front, this has you doing the work. It's going to be a little bit slower, but you can be hunkered down more. So let's take a look at how this works. All right, well, we're going to pause just a minute and give the fellas a break. There's quite a process to this, and you don't need to see the whole process, but there's a chance to talk about something else that is really important to the soldiers then and to the living historian today. You notice I'm not wearing my full kit, but I am definitely carrying my canteen. This is physical labor. Many of us who interpret Civil War history don't have overly physical jobs. Staying hydrated is one big portion of it. We're going to continue the work here. You'll see some shots as we go, and then let's talk about the finished product as we dig down, build a couple of feet up, and by digging, build a couple of feet down, and try to best approximate what Mosman told us about. Stay tuned and keep watching. Well, we've worked for about an hour here. The mound has come up. The hole goes deeper in. It's something that you can keep working on. Even if you got the quartermaster tools for a little bit, we've shown how you could go ahead and use the bayonet and the canteen half or cup to keep creating your own pick and shovel and keep working on this. Keep mounding more dirt out in front. Keep digging down deeper to be more secure. These are skills that are going to be taught by the Army after the Civil War in training manuals, but they don't exist during the Civil War at the individual level. But Chesley Mosman wrote a book of his accounts after the war, and in the rough side of the war, he talked about exactly this outside of Chattanooga in the fall of 1863. Well, this is something we love to do with Civil War Digital Digest. We love to take primary accounts from the war and bring them a little bit more to life for you so you have a chance to get a greater connection to our American Civil War history. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you soon.